Hello everybody, Chris here with CD2 Wrestling, and welcome to my Raw review show that I'm going to be doing after every Monday Night Raw. Today we are going to be talking about the December 18th show, and the show starts off with Kurt Angle, the general manager, going down to the ring to talk about the Universal Championship match at the Royal Rumble, which did not have a decisive number one contender from last week. If you guys remember, Kane and Braun Strowman were counted out. And so Angle was figuring out what to do. And at that point, that's when we had Strowman and Kane come out trying to say, well, I deserve the match. And then Paul Heyman comes out with Brock Lesnar. And at that point, Lesnar's in the ring with Strowman, Kane, and Angle, to the point to where Angle's like, all right, we'll do a triple threat match. So now for the Universal Championship match at the Royal Rumble, we are going to have a triple threat with the champion Brock Lesnar against Braun Strowman and Kane. This is the first time that Kane has ever faced Braun Strowman. I'm sorry, not Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar. So it should be an interesting match. You know, it's gonna be. I expect a lot of mayhem happening between the three of them. You know, we get some big guys in there, so let's expect some craziness to happen. So. After that, the first actual match of the night was supposed to be Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe, and it turned into Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan when Jason Jordan goes to his father Kurt Angle to ask for a match, and then Samoa Joe comes out just to watch it. It was a pretty slow match. It was pretty boring. You know, you had "this is boring" chants in the crowd. It just seems silly. They have a storyline like this in 2017, going to 2018 with the illegitimate child type thing. Jason Jordan worked Rollins' lower back most of the match, and you had a little bit of actually, in reality, the most action was after the match ended when Rollins won and Samoa Joe got in there, and they just kind of had a little bit of just stuff with the three of them. That was pretty much the biggest action was after the match ended. After the commercial break, we have a backstage segment which sets up Rollins, Ambrose, and Jordan versus The Bar and Samoa Joe. And then we have, after that, it's a promo from Bray Wyatt talking about the quote-unquote Great War with Woken Matt Hardy. So, the promo was good. Probably one of the better ones Bray Wyatt's had in a little while. I mean, the last 2 weeks have been good. So this continued promo feud between the two of them is going to hopefully set up a good match. So after that, we have a 2-on-1 handicap match with Finn Balor versus the Miztourage. Balor wins by disqualification when the Miztourage just starts beating him up. And then we have a debut of Hideo Itami, who's supposed to be debuting tomorrow on 205 Live, but he comes out before to save Balor. He comes in as a face because if you guys remember in NXT the last little bit, he was kind of as a heel. So him as a face, we could probably see him going up against Enzo More and the Zo Train. So after that, it sets up a tag team match between the Miztourage, Balor, and Itami, which Itami wins by hitting the GTS on Curtis Axel. So, like I said, I think it's going to bring some nice stuff to the cruiserweight division. I just have concerns that they're going to put Finn on it as well, just for some more talent on 205 Live, and not give him, the bigger picture, more main event stuff that he should be getting. So after that, we have the cruiserweight division match between Drew Gulak and Cedric Alexander for the number one contender for the cruiserweight championship, with Amore on commentary. Which the match was good. They were focused on Amore being out there talking about Zo Train, talking about Nia Jax, and talking about, at one point I don't even know what they were talking about, just weird stuff they were talking about. Not really weird, it was just create this awkward stuff. To the point to where Maury walks backstage, leaves the match, and off that distraction, Alexander gets the win off of Gulak. Gulak. Like I said, it was a good match. They just weren't focused on it a whole lot. It was more, the commentary staff. And then after that commercial break they had, you're backstage with Enzo talking to Nia Jax. I guess what they were talking about the last couple of weeks, which I'm going to assume is for the mixed match challenge. I'm going to guess they're going to be setting up the teams for that quite soon off Raw and SmackDown. But they get interrupted by Gulak, and you see the seeds in place for the eventual turn from Gulak from away from the Zo Train and Enzo Amore. So after that, we had the rematch of Asuka and Alicia Fox, and of course, with no surprise, Asuka wins. Continues her undefeated streak. I mean, it was an alright match. It wasn't terrible. Alicia Fox's character is still getting she's doing that crazy Fox thing, and it seems to be working. Alicia, she did a little bit of offense, but like I said, overall, we knew Asuka was going to win. So like I said, it was a quick match, but it was alright. So after that, we had our 6-man tag team match with The Bar and Samoa Joe versus Jason Jordan, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. And you could sense the animosity between Jason Jordan, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. Just from last week with Jason Jordan getting not specifically involved with Ambrose's match, but just enough to irritate Ambrose. It was okay. The whole Jason, you could tell people they don't want to see Jason Jordan anymore. It's getting kind of, stale with, he keeps losing his matches. He keeps asking for these opportunities, and keeps losing. So it's going to be, something. I expect they're gonna. It seems now, It seems now that they're going to be doing something with the Shield versus Jordan. Who knows? It'd be kind of, I guess, kind of interesting. And one person we didn't see tonight was Roman Reigns. We didn't see him tonight, but it did also too. It did have Ambrose get injured, and it kind of looks like it was a legitimate injury, because he was taken to I guess the hospital. And as of right now, we haven't seen any more information on what is going on, so we'll just have to wait and see with that. After that, it was a commercial break, and then after that, we had the Woken Matt Hardy promo where he's playing chess with a goldfish who ends up being Napoleon. A lot of people enjoyed the goldfish part, and he started talking about the Great War against Bray Wyatt and Sister Abigail. So, do we see eventually a tag team match with, Woken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero, and then Bray Wyatt and somebody else's Sister Abigail, or do we just see Woken Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt? I guess we'll just have to wait and see for that. After that segment, we have Heath Slater and Rhino versus the returning Revival. If you guys remember, Revival has been out due to injury. I can't remember which one. I think it was Wilder with a what was it? A bicep rupture, I believe it was. But it was just good old tag team, classic tag team stuff that, the Revival do, just fists, no flips. It was a pretty quick match. It wasn't terrible. During the match, we did have a backstage segment with Titus Worldwide and their new director of statistics with Dana Brooke. This seems kind of out of place because I didn't think we were going to see Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews as a tag team, but I guess they're doing that, and it's kind of hard to tell. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see for that. After that commercial break, we have Heath Slater and Rhino with Kurt Angle and with Angle kind of saying you guys need to toughen up to get more opportunities, and that's where Rhino or Heath Slater's all worried about getting fired again. And Rhino's like, no, we'll just make it better. And so I think we're going to see a change in character for those guys, at least more Heath Slater. We'll just have to wait and see. They've often, those guys off and on have had, some good feuds, some bad ones, and just kind of been used all over the place. So, let's see him get used again better. After that, we have Elias in the ring doing his who wants to walk with Elias, and talking about, New England and all the heel stuff he does, and yada yada yada. And then he gets interrupted by Sasha Banks, starts playing a song again, gets interrupted by Mickie James, and then eventually Bayley. Of course, with Bayley, she tries to hug him because that's still her gimmick, and he just walks away. And then after that, we have the tag team match with the Absolution. It pretty much ended like the last couple of matches with them, where it just ends up in chaos and them beating each other up, and the entire Raw women's division coming out to go up against Absolution, and you have them hitting finishers, all this stuff on them, to the point to where I forgot to mention this earlier, but they did have before commercial break, Stephanie McMahon coming out in a limo, to which she comes out right at the end of the show to talk about the women's evolution, or women's revolution to evolution, to just to continue all these different things the women's division has done. They're not the divas anymore. Like we've known this for a while. They're actually, women's division, women's superstars, wrestlers. It's, so much more that they do. They've had Hell in Cell matches and all these different matches that have always been for the male competitors. But now, we're going to have the first ever Royal Rumble women's match with, I'm going to assume it's going to be a lot of competitors. I mean, we're going to see both Raw and SmackDown. I expect to see some competitors from NXT and a lot of legends coming out, because I haven't done the math. I'll probably do this here in a little bit, but I don't think there's enough. If they do like a 30 women's Rumble match, I assume it's going to be 30. It may be less, but that's overall a good thing. So that was the real quick review of the Raw from December 18th. Overall, it's better than it's been. I think personally, you had some Royal Rumble setups with the Triple Threat Universal Championship match and the women's Royal Rumble match. You did get to see the return of the Revival, and we got to see the debut of Hideo Itami, which brings some more credibility to 205 Live, I feel like. And just, Enzo is not a good wrestler, as we've seen for years. He's a good talker, he's a good entertainer, but not a good wrestler. So I would imagine after this match with Cedric Alexander, I can't talk today, that we're going to see Hideo Itami in a program with him, and eventually Hideo Itami to win, I would assume. But like I said, every time we'll just have to wait and see. If you guys enjoyed the Raw review, do me a favor, follow me on Twitter at Deezeroth. Leave me a message on how you think the show went and what you'd like to see else, and I will catch you guys next time.